so then after that, Daddy moved us back to town because he was afraid the house would be next. And sure enough, uh, we got back to town, and it was not good because they caught the man who had set the fires because Daddy had put him in the pen, and he was getting revenge. So it was good. We got back to town, moved on to North Court, Market Street, and where I went back to Lincoln School. I was sure glad to get back with my grand. And at that time, I had something every night after school that I had to go to, like Girl Scouts, campfire, church practice, and everything. So it was nice to be back where I didn't have to take a long bus ride to get there. Then, after that, we moved back to Market Street. Then Daddy went into the real estate and insurance business in Ottumwa, and we lived there for a while, and then we bought the house on North Court, 2001 North Court, and that was our family home from then on. And I went to high school, junior high and high school from there. How about that?
Who was your prom date?
Prom date?
In high school.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a nice thing in a way because our classes didn't date off. We'd all go together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who was your first
kiss? And it was especially nice for me because I was pretty shy. I was really shy.
Really? Who was your first kiss, Grandma?
Gosh, I don't remember that. That takes more memory than I have. So that's a long time ago.
Do you know how old
you were?
But
I was a blonde at that time. And people weren't, I'm very blonde, you see, and I did. And people weren't dyeing their hair there. And in those days you didn't dye your hair. So if you were blonde, you stood out in the crowd. So you'd get special treatment, really. You don't notice it, but you do. Like being the queen of this and that because you're blonde and you stand out. Mm-hmm. But I was pretty shy. And when I really felt a feeling of self-worth when I excelled in archery and could hit the target every time. So that helped me get out of high school. But high school was hard because you had a lot of growing up to do there.
Mm-hmm. Grandpa.
Okay. Growing up in Decorah at Grandpa's house at 701 East Broadway, we had lots of children in the neighborhood that we could play with. There were the Gilbertsons, and there was Marlo Hicks, there was Curtis Larson, there was Ed and Tom Clark, there were the Hislop kids, and we all centered within about a block of each other, half a block of each other, and we made our own fun. We played games. We had King of the Hill, May I, Anti-I Over. You know what that is?
Oh, yeah. Throwing it over the school.
Yeah, and then hollering it over. We did things like that. We had a game called Tom Ball, which three fellas could play. You have a fielder, you have a pitcher, and a batter. And the batter hit the ball and run to the base, and then you move around like that. It was kind of fun. Marlo Hicks was a good friend of mine. And he had a mother, her name was Ella Hicks, and they lived in a brick house about a half a block down the road. And she had a voice, and when she wanted Marlo home, she'd go, Marlo, real high, and it was loud enough that it would echo in the cliffs around Decorah there. And it was a good neighborhood. We had we lived there until Dad got settled a little better. And Mother got a job teaching in the high school. She taught home economics. The first year her contract was for $900.
It was nice that they let a married woman teach.
And then
they didn't do that in those days.
Then finally she got up to $1,100 for a 9-month contract, and we hired a gal called Nora Michelson. She took care of Austin and me and the house. She did the housework. She got $1 a day, $7 a week. boarding room and Thursday nights out. And I remember she carried a hat pin like that in her purse. And that was her guardian. If somebody gave her a hard time, she could stab them with her hat pin. Nora died last year. She was 99 years old.
Wow.
And I didn't realize that she was only 10 years older than I was, but because she seemed a lot older.
Authority.
And she did everything. And then Dad got a job as a bank receiver and left Decorah and moved around in little banks until he got situated. And so we moved back into Grandpa's house. And Grandpa and Grandma had rented one of the rooms out to a teacher. So Mother and the teacher each had a room, and Grandpa had a room, and Austin and I and Nora went to the attic. They had two big beds up there, and Nora had one bed, and Austin and I had the other beds. And in the wintertime, we had stocking caps, mittens, and we had out and flannel nightgowns that had pockets in the bottom so we could put our feet in and push down like that. And so we slept up there cold as the dickens. And the ceiling wasn't insulated, but the floor was, so the house was warm, but we weren't. And it was really quite an experience. But that lasted until 1932. And then we moved to Red Oak. And I was in 8th grade. And I was actually in 8th and a half. They had a split year in Decorah, and the kids that could jump ahead a half year, they did, and I jumped ahead a half year, so I was 8 and a half. I went to Red Oak, and they only had 8s. They didn't have half years, so I went back and took the first part of 8th grade over again. The teacher, I remember, her name was Ines Cross, and I was a little ornery. She had me sit right in front of her desk and off to the side, and all the kids were back here, and there was a clock shelf up here. So I got a mirror and put up there so I could see what was going on behind the guy. I was a really dedicated student. No, and there's a kid in there. Well, one of the boys, his name was George Lord Rushton, and Junior, so we called him Junior, and a smart little fella. And he's still alive, and we're going to see him when we go down to Texas now this winter. We're going to stop and say hello to him, have a cup of coffee on our way down. But when I went to high school, I took English, history, math, Latin, everything, and then we got into science. And May Cooey was a Latin teacher, and she was a real good teacher. Marie Skellecamp was the English teacher, and she was a big lady, tall, ugly as a picket fence, and but a real nice lady. What's the matter?
You're grinding your foot.
Yeah, quit.
You don't like my noise.
Well,
Sounds like
might interact with the...
Somebody shoveling the walk.
Great. Well, anyway, high school was good. I was the first year I was in high school. I tried out for the cheerleaders, and I was a cheerleader. I was the only boy cheerleader. There were 3 girls and me, and that lasted 1 year. I was through with that, and I thought I'd go out for football, but they didn't have any trousers there.